Vigilant. James O'Keefe has another massive bombshell story with an undercover report. A Meta senior software engineer revealing the platform is demoting content critical of Kamala Harris and boosting Democrats. Are you surprised? Mark Zuckerberg came out and he was like, yo, Donald Trump, when he stood up and said, fight, that was like the most badass thing I've ever seen. And then Trump is like, I actually really like Mark Zuckerberg now. But who would have thought that Mark Zuckerberg's platform is still playing the old Zuckerbucks game? Well, at least this time around, my friends, we've got help from Elon Musk. Elon Musk has given $75 million to a pro-Trump super PAC. I don't know that it counters what Mark Zuckerberg was doing in 2020 or what his platform is doing now, but at least with X, we have some kind of counter. The Post-Millennial reports the latest undercover video from O'Keefe Media Group in a series called The Meta Tapes has revealed a Meta senior software engineer talking about how the platform censors users for speaking out against the Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris and her party. When asked by the undercover journalist how Meta controls so-called hate speech from the Republican Party, senior software engineer Jivan Gyawali replied that the integrity team at Meta, a pretty significant team, builds civic classifiers, which is a really large model that's been trained in civic content. And here you have it, my friends. Let's roll tape.
Say your uncle in Ohio said something about Kamala Harris isn't unfit to be a president because he doesn't have a child.
Okay.
That kind of shit is automatically demoted.
Meet Jivan Gyawali, a senior software engineer at Meta.
Are they doing a good job protecting our democracy? Because I can see these right-wing groups setting up Instagram accounts or Facebook accounts for that matter, right? And just start posting disinformation, be like, Harris is blah, blah, blah.
That's all going to be demoted 100%. The civic classifier is strong.
The senior software engineer also goes on to say that, quote, the person would not be notified, unquote, if they were demoted because of their anti-Kamala Harris post on Meta.
Shadowban.
Red-listed, that's a new term we just learned. Red-listed, meaning, according to Collins Dictionary, things that are not permitted.
Ooh.
Would the person who posted that would he be notified that?
The person would not be notified, but there's these things that what you collect is if a bunch of items that, if at least a couple of items that a person has created has violated civic classifier, then they're also red listed.
Our OMG American Swiper asked Jivan if Meta was shadow banning users for their anti-Kamala Harris posts. Take a look at what he says.
So is that called shadow banning?
Shadow banning, yeah.
Okay, so they will be shadow banned.
Wow.
Correct.
They will never be shown. But so they will see a dip in impressions and engagement,
yeah.
But they would not be officially warned of the reason why.
Correct.
We asked Gyawali if Meta has the ability to affect the upcoming 2024 election, to which he responded, yes, Meta does. Jivan also confirmed that Mark Zuckerberg intends to help the Democrats in this election cycle.
Whoa.
You guys have the ability to influence the outcome of the election.
Yes.
Do you think Zuckerberg agrees? Good. Is he going to help the Democrats?
Yeah.
Holy crap, dude. Now look. This is just the opinion of one developer. But I do think you got to hand it to James O'Keefe because this is the ongoing bit. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no such thing as a woman who is a perfect 10. We call those unicorns, or in the political profession, James O'Keefe. That's right. If you meet a woman who is beautiful, charming, and just really interested in you, it's James O'Keefe. Don't, but they always fall for it. I love how it's these women sit down with these guys and they're like, tell me more about the corporate malfeasance you're involved in. Well, let me tell you, we will demote, downrank, and shadow ban people who are critical of the Democratic Party and Kamala Harris. And yeah, I think Zuckerberg wants to help the Democrats. Now, hold on. I think it's fair to point out one guy's opinion on what he thinks Mark Zuckerberg is trying to do is different from what Mark Zuckerberg is trying to do. I doubt this guy even knows Mark Zuckerberg, fair point. But he is explaining actual implemented policies and code on Meta platforms, Instagram and Facebook, that he says do these things. That's evidence.
Meet Jivan Gyawali, a senior software engineer at Meta. Jivan met our OMG undercover American Swiper on the dating app Bumble. In the meeting he had with our journalist, Jiva describes internal workings of how Meta is dealing with misinformation on their platform. Jivan talks about Meta's civic classifiers, a system that Meta has built through their integrity team to demote civic content. In other words, political content.
Yep.
I mean, they try to take women's rights away.
I think-
like, how do you guys like control that hate speech?
There's a team called Integrity team.
Okay.
That's like a large portion of like, it's a pretty significant team, and they build all these classifiers. The base level of defense system that Facebook has built now is they have built these things called civic classifiers. Civic classifier is a really large model that's been trained on civic content.
Okay.
So anything that it detects to be a civic content
Yeah.
is like demoted.
So this is important. This is a fact. It's long been known. Actually, let me see if I can pull up a better source. Instagram downranks political content. And so a lot of people have been posting on, let's see, I think we have update, don't say vote on Instagram. Check this out. I'm going to come back to this clip from James O'Keefe, but I'm going to back up. What this guy is saying is known, it is true, and James O'Keefe has them on the record explaining what they're doing. The Washington Post, don't say vote, how Instagram hides your political posts. Our tech columnist investigates how Meta's Instagram, Facebook, and Threads suppress content related to the election, even discussing how to vote isn't safe. On Instagram, creator Miss Frazzled can get more than 1 million viewers on her goofy videos, parenting misbehaving adults. One recent hit showed bartenders how to talk to customers, blah, blah, blah. But lately, she's been frazzled by something else. Whenever she posts about the election, she feels as if her audience disappears. It's not her imagination. I can show you exactly how democracy dies on Instagram. This woman, blah, blah, blah. She can't even say vote. When she used the word in a caption across 11 posts, her average audience was 63% smaller. It's very disempowering. Now, I want to stress this. I do think the framing, of course, from the American swiper is that they're going to be just overtly benefiting Democrats. I believe that is true. But I believe it's important to point out the context of the civic classifiers is supposed to be bipartisan or nonpartisan. They're going to downrank any political content. Ladies and gentlemen, this is election interference, period. 100%. I don't care if they're banning posts about Kamala or posts about Trump. If the people who are on Instagram are interested in an election cycle, and Instagram says, we will not let you do this, they are interfering in the cycle. And I'll make it really simple for you. It is a manipulative game they're playing where they're like, no, we're fair. We're fair. We say if it's pro-Trump or pro-Kamala or anti-Trump, anti-Kamala, it all gets downranked. You know why? You are going to get substantially more posts about Trump being good and Kamala being bad. I guarantee it. After the Fox News interview, Kamala bombs. Social media is flooded with Kamala's failures. And don't get me wrong, Democrats are praising her for sure, but the trend is over her bombing the interview. By Instagram saying we're being fair, they're doing a suppression 2-to-1 on a post that benefit Donald Trump. That is election interference.
Civic classifier? Okay, what does that mean?
That means that if anything is related to political content, it's automatically not shown.
We wanted to dive deeper into Meta's demotion of civic content, whatever that means, on their platform. The senior Meta software engineer Jiva states to our OMG American Swiper that they would, quote, automatically demote, unquote, content that might be critical of Kamala Harris.
Unconnected stuff is not going to show up in your feed. Like ads, I think can show up, and they probably have a whole different process of vetting ads.
Okay.
But like unconnected content, like say your uncle in like Ohio said something about like Kamala Harris isn't unfit to be a president because he doesn't have a child.
Okay.
That kind of shit is automatically demoted.
Now, if you remember back in 2019, we did a story about a Facebook insider that showed us internal practices being played out at Facebook regarding what they called deboosting as well. What was previously considered a conspiracy theory, now documented by this Facebook whistleblower that came out with us in 2019.
Every time I would see this deboost live stream kind of code on there.
And what does it mean when these documents say action deboost live distribution? What does the term deboost mean?
When I see reduce live distribution, it means preventing the distribution of this live feed.
And just 2 years after that, we got our hands on an insider tape that revealed Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg and a top executive were punishing truth seekers.
I want to clarify on that point I made a moment ago as well. The internet is where the narrative gets challenged. The corporate press is where the narrative is maintained. We refer to the narrative as the corporate and institution and the uniparty, the ideas they're trying to convey to the American people, whether they're true or not. Online, you certainly have mis and disinformation, but you also have resistance. Podcasts and individuals who are posting on social media things that they see and want to share. This is where you're going to get the bulk of your pro-Trump content. It's either going to be Fox News, one channel up against 50, or you're going to watch CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, etc., and they're going to give you bunk garbage information. Mostly, not always. If they are saying, we're being fair on social media by deboosting everyone, they know they're going 2-1 against Donald Trump and those who are challenging the corporate press.
And I've been clear that we have a number of efforts to find people and we terminate people and pursue the recourse that we have when we identify them. And in this case, we did find them.
Now in 2024, Jeevan from Meta, previously Facebook, mentioning continued practices of demoting content just a few weeks before the presidential election. The senior software engineer also goes on to say that, quote, the person would not be notified, unquote, if they were demoted because of their anti-Kamala Harris post on Meta, and red-listed, that's a new term we just learned, red-listed, meaning, according to Collins Dictionary, things that are not permitted.
Would the person who posted that would he be notified that?
The person would not be notified, but there's these things that what you collect is like, if a bunch of items that, like if at least a couple of items that a person has created has violated civic classifier, then they're also red listed.
Our OMG American Swiper asked Jeevan if Meta was shadow banning users for their anti-Kamala Harris posts. Take a look at what he says.
So is that called shadow banning?
Shadow banning, yeah.
Okay, so they will be shadow banned.
Correct.
They will never be shown. But so they will see a dip in like impressions and engagement,
yeah.
But they would not be like officially warned of the reason why.
Correct.
Jeevan Gowali is asked how the company is going to avoid a repeat of 2016 misinformation, and then he discloses that there is a SWAT team that's, quote, already set up since April.
I'm afraid that we're gonna see a repeat of 2016 in 2024. I hate to put you on the spot, but I'm gonna do it anyway. What is your company doing to prevent that from happening?
God. Well, it's like
how are you guys gonna fight that?
Well, I mean, there is a SWAT team that's already set up since I think April to think about all the scenarios of how the platform could be abused.
The senior software engineer at Meta is asked about right-wing Meta accounts posting misinformation about Kamala Harris, and he states that these posts are, quote, all going to be demoted 100%. The civic classifier is strong, unquote.
Are they doing a good job protecting our democracy? Because I can see these like right-wing groups like setting up Instagram accounts or Facebook accounts for that matter, right? And just start posting disinformation, be like, Harris is like blah, blah, blah.
That's all going to be demoted 100%. The civic classifier is strong.
Just last week, we saw former 2016 Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton state that if Meta doesn't moderate and monitor users' content, then, quote, we lose total control. Watch this.
If the platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control. And it's not just the social and psychological effects, it's real harm.
We asked Gowali if Meta has the ability to affect the upcoming 2024 primary election, to which he responded, yes, Meta does. Jeevan also confirmed that Mark Zuckerberg
2024 primary
intends to help the Democrats in this election.
So I do want to point out, I guess kind of the elephant in the room, but it does look like this was recorded a while ago. But this is the danger of the weak man. Look, you may be thinking, because I know one of the rebuttals they always give to James O'Keefe stories is it's a guy trying to pitch woo. He's trying to impress this lady, man. So he's like, whatever you say. So a woman sits down with an engineer and says, I don't like Donald Trump. I want Kamala Harris. And he goes, that's right, baby. We're going to do all of that. Okay. I got a serious question then. Feminists, what do you think about a guy who lies to you in order to get in your pants? You know what I'm saying? So if this dude, this engineer, is like thinking, I'm going to say whatever she wants to hear to impress her, is he Is he not lying to convince her that he's working on her behalf or towards her ideals so he can, you know? This is the issue with a lot of these Democrat guys, in my opinion. Not all of them, but there's a biological term for it, which I'll keep this one family friendly. But he's on a date. And if this is the argument, you are saying that he is supporting Kamala. He is arguing publicly. Okay. He's in a public setting speaking. Okay. It's a private conversation. Fair point. But he's out in public saying, yes, we do these things. Yes, we downrank criticism of Kamala Harris. Yes, Zuckerberg is helping Democrats. So either he is telling the truth and the machine is rigged once again. Why would I trust Zuckerberg? Or he's lying to this woman to sleep with her. And what does that say about these guys who support Democrats?
Cycle.
You guys have the ability to influence the outcome of the election.
Yes.
Do you think Zuckerberg agrees? Good. Is he going to help the Democrats?
Yeah.
Oh, so he's like going to help the Democrats, right?
100%.
So we just reached out to Jeevan for comment.
Wow.
My name is James O'Keefe, and the girl works for me.
Oh, no.
And she recorded you. You're at Meta, and you're talking about... He said, and then he hung up the phone. So I guess the comment is...
Oh, that dude's sweating bullets, James.
And stay tuned, because tomorrow we have another Meta subject forthcoming.
Wow.
We have lineinthesandmovie.com, which redirects you to Tucker Carlson's website where you can stream Line in the Sand movie. We've got whistleblowers coming out. We got the Border Patrol agent in Vermont who's being summoned and disciplined for speaking about child trafficking. We have his back. Citizen Journalism Foundation is defending him, paying his legal bills. And if you work on the inside of any federal agency, any tech company, Disney, you name it, tips at o'keefemediagroup.com. DM us. We got your back. Stay tuned.
Dude, you guys got to see Line in the Sand. I've only seen some clips so far. I'm going to be watching it probably this weekend. Busy. But I have seen a little bit of it, and it is wild. James O'Keefe is doing some of his best work right now. This is amazing stuff, and it's actually kind of terrifying stuff. Mark Zuckerberg comes out. He plays this game. You know, Donald Trump is praising Mark Zuckerberg, saying he's much better now. But we know behind the scenes, this is not true. Why would any of us start to believe that Mark Zuckerberg has had a change of heart? And I can tell you this. Let me rank censorship by platform, okay? The best platform for any kind of content, Rumble. The second best platform for content, X. YouTube, next. No surprise. Or I should say kind of a surprise. No joke, though. YouTube actually has done pretty well. You may have noticed that a lot of more conservative and right-leaning voices have seen their views increase. We got featured, Timcast Morning Show and Timcast IRL on the front page several times. Timcast IRL, we had 70,000 concurrent viewers last night. So it seems like some lift has been pulled off. I don't know what the issue is. Some people said when the CEO died, the new CEO came in and made some changes, maybe. So YouTube's kind of in the middle, not perfect. Okay. But then you got Facebook and Instagram, which is bad. It's on the bad side. We get censored. It's ridiculous. I even talk about particular issues. I can't even say them because I know if we post on Facebook by saying this, they're going to nuke it. TikTok's the worst. TikTok will ban you for literally anything. We put up a video where we're like, hey, did you guys hear about banned? It's like, okay, I guess. But Facebook is ridiculously bad. You get a bunch of hits, strikes, claims, copyrights. It's nuts how bad it is. Now, if Mark Zuckerberg was serious about not wanting to meddle and not wanting to be involved, you'd see these things change. But you know what? Facebook is a decaying platform. Instagram is where they're putting their investment, and they are all massively censorious. So I don't trust Mark Zuckerberg for 2 minutes. This guy, look, what do we got here? Kevin O'Leary, the real reason Bezos, Zuckerberg, and Warren Buffett are suddenly selling billions in stock. Really? Officers of these companies, corporate insiders reported the lowest net buying, some hysteria in some parts of the mainstream media. What's going on? Insider trading. The answer is they know their own limitations. I'm here to tell you that insider trading is nearly useless, blah, blah, blah. I'll tell you what my prediction is. My prediction is that these guys are worried there's going to be a massive market crash. They know something is coming. They're playing these games. Zuckerberg is ponying up to Donald Trump because he knows he's in the figurative crosshairs. When Trump wins, presuming he does, Zuckerberg is going to be the target of some investigations. Were you colluding with the government and with intelligence agencies to suppress content? Yes or no? And you're going to see indictments. And the question is, what did Zuckerberg know and when did he know it? And I got a feeling he knew the whole time. Take a look at Jack Dorsey and Vijay Gadde. They knew. It's crazy because my one regret with the Joe Rogan interview I did all those years ago was that I did not consider government collusion. And it seems like a really stupid thing to miss, especially for someone like me with the experience, having dealt with the security community and everything. I didn't even think to ask, have you been in communication with any government affiliated agency, intelligence, contractor, or otherwise in relation to censorship or removal of users? And they'd have to have just lied outright. Didn't ask. I'm willing to bet that Zuckerberg and all of these other guys are in on the take. And they're scared now because they feel like Donald Trump is coming. So they're dumping stock. Why? They want cash. Why is Zuckerberg building his Hawaiian paradise? Well, he's probably trying to get away in the event of a major catastrophe. And you know what it may be? It may be economic crisis. It may be political. But I suppose we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully, Donald Trump wins despite whatever it is Zuckerberg and Facebook are doing. Smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with everyone you know. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. If you're listening to the audio podcast, give us a good review. I think we deserve it. Maybe I'm wrong. Well, you tell me. Thanks for hanging out, everybody, and we'll see you all in the next segment.